Hello, and welcome to Verbling. In this next hour, we are going to look at using conjunctions, unless, provided that, as, and pardon me, and conjunctions with similar functions. We will do that. I will discuss the uses for 5 minutes or so, and then students will uh, take turns doing a series of exercises to familiarize themselves with the uses of these conjunctions. Okay, welcome to class. Jorge, hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Can I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, uh, I'm doing okay. Thank you. Hello, Carolina. Welcome back.
Hello, teacher. Thank
Hello,
you.
hello again. Okay, plenty of material, so let's jump right in. If other viewers would like to join us, you can jump into the class anytime. It's not a problem. All right, I'm going to start off by explaining the uses of unless, as long as, provided that, and talk about them a little bit, and then we're going to do some exercises. If while I'm explaining here for 5 minutes or so, if you have any questions, please don't be shy about interrupting me, and I'll try to uh, I'll try to answer your question and explain the issue for you. Okay, first, unless. All right, this club is for members only. You can't go in unless you are a member. This means you can't go in except if you are a member, or only if you are a member. So unless pretty much means except if or only if when we use unless. Unless is basically the negative of if also. Okay, some more examples of unless. I'll see you tomorrow unless I have to work late. So except if I have to work late. There are no buses to the beach. Okay, unless you have a car, it is difficult to get there. All right. Okay, in a conversation, shall I tell Liz what happens? Not unless she asks you. Only if she asks you, like that. Okay, she wouldn't complain about something unless it was really bad. Notice, you may notice, if you are at all familiar with conditional sentences, that unless often functions the same way if functions in a conditional sentence. So in the first example, we have the first conditional here with will. The result clause, I will see you later unless I have to work late. The condition, all right, is followed. It follows the unless. It's in present tense. Present tense, will. Zero conditional, unless you have a car. Present tense, it is difficult to get there. This is the zero condition where present tense is used to talk about things that are the speaker feels is just plain a fact, an always fact. Okay, the next example is just in a reply. The third example, she wouldn't complain. Okay, the result clause uses wouldn't, and notice the unless clause uses the past tense, unless it was really bad. This is called the second conditional. We use it for an unreal, it's also called the unreal conditional. Notice unless followed by the past tense, because the speaker feels that this is an unreal condition, not realistic. So the result clause has would instead of will. All right, present tense, will. Past tense, would. Or perhaps another modal. Okay. All right. Now this is kind of unusual unless you'd prefer to walk. All right, here, this is a little different. You can't really do this with an if, but you can get away with this with an unless. We can take a taxi to the restaurant unless you would prefer to walk. Okay. Or without would, unless you prefer to walk, it's possible. Okay, because unless is the negative of if, it's often possible to use if and not. Unless we leave now, we will be late, or if we don't leave now, with negative don't, we will be late. So very often, it is possible to use if in it with a negative. Okay, other words, phrases that function in much the same way as long as, provided, providing. Okay, you're presenting a condition, or on condition that. For example, you can borrow my car, all right, the result, as long as you promise not to drive too fast. All right, is there your condition. Traveling by car is convenient, provided that, or providing that, or that is optional here, actually, provided you have somewhere to park. All right, so that's the condition. Notice that any of these sentences, actually, the ones with unless as well, or provided that, you can, if there's two clauses, you can you can switch the clauses. For example, the next sentence, providing that the room is clean, I don't mind which hotel we stay at. You can also say, I don't mind which hotel we stay at, provided that the room is clean. Doesn't matter which clause you have first in a sentence. If you have the subordinate clause or dependent clause first, then you need to have a comma. That's the only difference. Notice these first two examples, there's no comma, because we have this dependent clause is second. When we present the condition, we're using these subordinating words or phrases. Okay, all right, last part here. Unless, as long as, to talk about the future. When you're talking about the future, do not use will after unless, as long as, or provided. Use a present tense. That is for a very simple reason. Believe it or not, all these subordinators, these subordinating conjunctions that I'm presenting to you right now, these are unless, as long as, providing. These are all considered time subordinators. And you can never, ever, ever use the future tense with a time subordinator. Okay? You just can't. So you always have to use a present tense. I'm not going out unless it stops raining. I can't say I'm not going out unless it will stop raining. This is a very common mistake, but grammatically speaking, you really can't do that. Providing the weather is good, we're going to have a picnic tomorrow. We're going to have is your future tense. This is what shows you're talking about the future. Present tense in the clause with this time subordinator. You cannot say providing the weather will be good. We're going to have a picnic tomorrow. You just can't do it. Okay, we are now going to try a bunch of exercises. Before we do so, let me quickly welcome a couple new students to the class. Hello, Ken.
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Okay. And, okay, another new student. Zayed? Zaid? I'm sorry.
Hi, how are you, teacher?
I'm okay. How should I pronounce your name?
Ziad.
Ziad. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct.
Ziad. Okay, great. Thank you. Well, where are you from, Ziad?
I'm from Tunisia.
Okay, great. Well, welcome to the class. It must be early in the morning there.
No, I'm original from Tunisia, but I live in the United States, in Texas.
Oh, okay. I thought Tunisia, wow, it's going to be super early in the morning. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Texas, huh? Wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's wild. Okay, welcome to the class. We are now going to take turns doing some exercises, practicing using these subordinators, which introduce different conditions. Okay, for example, this first exercise, you're going to write a new sentence using unless in the sentence. For example, you must try a bit harder or you won't pass the exam. You won't pass the exam unless you try a bit harder. Okay, so you're just going to convert the sentence to use unless. All right, Jorge, go ahead, number 2.
The example sentence is listen carefully or you won't know what to do. And the incomplete sentence is you won't know what to do unless you listen carefully.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And very well said, Jorge. I like your introductory statements to introduce the sentences. That right there is really good English. All right. Signaling what you're going to say. Quite impressive. Thank you. Carolina, number
Thank you.
3. Thank you. Carolina, number 3.
I never speak to her again unless she apologizes to me.
Okay.
No,
I'll never speak to her again unless she apologizes to me.
apologizes to me.
Okay. Perfect. That's great. And remember, you can switch it around if you want. It's up to the speaker. Unless she apologizes to me, I will never speak to her again. Whatever way you want to say it, whatever sounds better to you, is perfectly okay. All right. Ken, number 4.
Okay. He won't be able to understand you unless you speak very slowly.
That's it. Perfect. Okay, and last one here, Zied.
Yeah. The company will have to close unless business improves soon.
That's it. Okay. More sentences with unless. Okay. A couple. In this case, we're converting 2 separate sentences into one sentence. So the club isn't open to everyone. You're allowed in only if you're a member. So, making it one sentence with 2 clauses. You aren't allowed in the club unless you're a member. Pretty straightforward, I think. Jorge, number 2.
I don't want to go to the party alone, so it should be I'm not going to the party unless you go with me.
Okay, that's much better and clearer. Okay, great. Good job. Carolina, number 3.
The dog won't attack you unless you move suddenly.
Very good. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, kind of simplifying all this information. That's it. Ken, number 4.
Okay, Ben, Ben speak unless you ask him something.
Okay, so the he will speak has to turn negative here. Ben won't speak.
Not talkative. Yeah.
Yeah. Ben won't speak unless you ask him something.
Okay.
How could you add this first sentence, the information from the first sentence to the sentence, Ken? Ben won't speak to you unless you ask him something. How could you add this other information?
Unless you speak something, so you should ask something to him. So,
No. I mean, how do you add this first sentence information?
Okay.
The fact that he's not talkative.
Ben isn't very talkative. So you ask some maybe last.
Could be. Either way. Okay. Could be. You could do it the way you were doing it. Ben isn't very talkative, so he won't speak to you unless you ask him something. Or you could say Ben won't speak to you unless you ask him something because he isn't very talkative. Right. So you could just add another subordinator and add this extra information. If you put it in the front of the sentence, you would use so, most likely. In the end, you would use because or some other word that means because. Okay. Ziad, number 5.
Yes. The doctor won't see you today unless it is an emergency.
Okay. Because today is a public holiday, or today is a
Yes.
public holiday, so the doctor, if you want to add a reason, that's how you do it. It's just, okay. All right. Which is correct? Okay, you see an underlined part here with two
Sure,
possibilities.
I have a question. I have a
Sure.
quick question.
Sure.
Can we use because before the unless? Like when we say like the doctor won't see you because today is public holiday unless it's an emergency. Is it possible to say that?
Okay, let me, I think so. Let me just walk it through my brain. The doctor won't see you today because it's a public holiday unless it's an emergency. Yeah, that's perfectly okay. Absolutely. Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I might say it that way, but sure, that's perfectly okay. Okay, which is correct? You can borrow my car as long as you promise not to drive too fast. It doesn't make any sense to say unless you promise not to drive too fast, because this is a positive. Okay, which is correct? So just read it with the correct subordinating conjunction. Jorge, number 2.
Yeah, I'm playing tennis tomorrow unless it rains.
Yeah. Otherwise, that would mean you want it to rain, providing it rains, which would be strange. Okay, Carolina, number 3.
I am playing tennis tomorrow unless it doesn't rain.
So you will play tennis if it does rain,
Okay.
Provide.
Providing.
providing it doesn't rain. Okay. See the difference here with number 2 and number 3? I will play tennis. I am playing tennis tomorrow unless it rains. So if it rains, I'm not going to. I'm playing tennis tomorrow providing it doesn't rain. So it means the same thing. If it rains, I'm not playing.
Double negation, maybe. Is there...
Sorry?
Unless and not is not, how can I say it? It's not correct?
It's not common?
Correct sentence.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. In number 3, providing is the correct answer.
Okay.
So you have a positive statement, a positive result. So providing negative doesn't happen unless okay, is it like the negative? Okay, it's like the negative if this happens. All right, Ken, try number 4.
I don't mind if you come home late, as long as you come in quietly.
All right, okay. As long as provided that, same thing. If, all right, I don't mind if you come home late, if you come in quietly.
And can I say, as long as come quietly?
No,
Okay.
as long as
Come back quietly or come in.
well, you need the subject noun.
You come quietly doesn't make sense.
As long as you come quietly. Well, no.
No?
Well, it doesn't really say the same thing. Without the in, Ken, what you're saying is that you're coming back late from the bar. That means that without in, that means that you should leave the bar on tippy toe and walk quietly to your car and drive quietly back to the house. And then shut your car doors quietly and tippy toe back to the house, and then you're done. But I don't think that's what they're concerned about. They're concerned about coming inside the house and slamming the door and shouting when you're in the house. I don't think they care how loud you are on the way from the bar to the house. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand my meaning? Okay. Because that's what that would mean without an in. You're talking about from wherever you were out back to the door of the house if you come quietly.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, Ziad, number 5.
I'm going now, teacher, unless you want me to stay.
Of course I want you to stay. Don't be ridiculous. Aha, funny, good one. Okay. Of course I want you to stay. All right. Jorge, how about number 6?
I don't watch TV. Unless I've got nothing else to do.
That's it. Very good. So only if he has nothing else to do does he watch TV. That's the idea. So only if. All right, I'm playing tennis tomorrow only if it doesn't rain. Okay, Carolina, number 7.
Children are allowed to use the swimming pool provided they are with an adult.
Okay, so they must be with an adult. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ken, number 8.
Okay, unless they are with an adult, children are not allowed to use swimming pool.
All right. That's right.
Okay, unless. Okay.
Unless. With unless.
Okay,
with unless. Okay. 7 and 8 say the same thing, but of course 7 uses provided and 8 uses unless. All right. Unless they're not allowed. Okay. Ziad, number 9.
We can sit here in the corner unless you'd rather sit over there by the window.
Okay. That's it. Very good. All right. All right. If you would not rather sit by the window. All right. Last one here. Dialogue A and B. Jorge.
Our holiday cost a lot of money. Did it? Well, that doesn't matter. As long as you enjoyed yourselves.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Well, we'll skip this one and move on to another bit of information and some more exercises. We are now going to look at as. We're looking at as and how to use as. Use as. Wow, I'm doing it right now as I'm saying it. Use as a subordinating conjunction. Okay. To mean, first of all, at the same time as. You can use as when two things happen at the same time. For example, we all waved goodbye to Liz as she drove away. Okay. Again, it's a subordinating conjunction. You're joining two clauses together. She drove away, and we all waved goodbye to Liz. All right. Okay.
They should be in the same time, right? The same, like both are in the past.
We all waved. Yeah, it would have to be, right? Because they're happening at the same time. Yeah, absolutely. We waved and she drove away at the same time. All right, that's it. Yes. Okay, here's one with the subordinating conjunction first. As I walked along the street, I looked in the shop windows. Okay, notice the comma here to separate the clauses when the subordinating conjunction goes first. All right. Can you turn off the lights as you go out, please? Okay. In question form? Sure. We sometimes in English also say something happened as you were doing something else or to show an interrupting action. Okay. Kate slipped. Okay, as she was getting off the bus. This is very common occurrence, grammatically speaking, in English. We have a sentence with two clauses. One has simple past, interrupting action. One has past continuous tense to show a longer action that was interrupted. We can do the same thing by just using the verb tenses, but this is a way to make it very, very, very clear and obvious. As she was getting off the bus, we met Paul as we were leaving the hotel. Kind of an exaggerated way to do it. We met Paul. Another way we do it, instead of as, we met Paul while we were leaving the hotel. Kate slipped while she was getting off the bus. She was getting off the bus when Kate slipped. There's different ways to construct this type of sentence with an interrupting action. We basically are using as the same way that we use while in this type of sentence.
Teacher, I have a question.
Sure.
The sentence that says, we met Paul as we were leaving the hotel, is it also possible to say, we were leaving the hotel when we met Paul?
Absolutely. Yes. That would be very common.
Okay.
And that was perfect because you used the subordinator when in front of the sentence with the simple past. That's exactly correct, what you did.
Thank you.
Exactly right. Thank you. Okay. We also use just as to really kind of exaggerate the idea of exactly that time. We want to convey the idea of just at that exact split second. Just as I sat down, the doorbell rang. I had to leave just as the conversation was getting interesting. Okay. All right. This is common. We can also use as when two things happen together in a longer period of time. All right. Okay. As the day went on, the weather got worse. So the weather got worse and the day went on. These are both, we're talking about, long periods of time, continuous actions. I began to enjoy the job more as I got used to it. All right. So when we do this, we don't have to use a continuous tense. As the day was what? As the day was going on. See, you can't really do that. It sounds weird. So we can't use go in a continuous way. So we use as instead. As the day went on, the weather was getting worse. Well, that's possible. All right. Sometimes we do this with as because we have what's called a non-continuous verb or a mixed verb, and we just simply can't use the verb with a continuous tense. So it's easier to use as. I began to enjoy the job. You really can't say I was beginning enjoying the job. Wow, it's just not going to work. All right. As and when. Okay, well, we were just doing that. We use as only if two things happen at the same time. As I drove home, I listened to music. All right. Use when, not as if one thing happens after another or if an interrupting action. When I got home, I had something to eat. Okay. In this second sentence, you're showing one thing is finished. I got home, done, I had something to eat. Okay, one after another. All right. Again, we can still use when in a simple past with a continuous to show that it's an interrupting action. All right. Notice that when we use as, as I was driving home, I was listening to music. All right, I was driving home and I was listening to music. Really also shows by using two past continuous tenses, I'm also showing that two things are happening at the same time. So when we use as, it already defines it as two things happening at once, so it's not necessary to use continuous tense because as is kind of showing that already. All right. Okay, so that's as to show two things at the same time. Now, as can also have a totally different meaning and function. It can also mean because. All right. For example, as I was hungry, I decided to find somewhere to eat. All right, meaning because. As we have plenty of time before our flight, let's go and have a coffee. Okay, notice that we can also use because we have plenty of time before our flight, let's go and have a coffee. We can also use since, not as a time subordinator, but as a subordinating conjunction to mean because. Since we have plenty of time before our flight, let's go and have a coffee. Any of those are possible here. Okay, it's basically substituting for because. All right. Okay, so it is no longer time-related subordinator. It's simply meaning because here. Oh, here's since. All right. Well, there we go. Compare as and when. Okay. I couldn't contact David as he was on holiday. It's a little different than using when. I couldn't contact David when he was on holiday. You're saying during the time, not because. As they live near us, we used to see them quite often because they live near us. You can say when they live near us, we used to see them quite often. But then you're talking about the time. During the time they live near us. Not because they live near us. If you can see the difference here. All right, at the time. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's attempt to use as in meaningful ways in English. All right, Your mix and match exercise, you're going to use as to join the two sentences. For example, we all waved goodbye to Liz as she drove away. Okay. Jorge, number 1.
I listened as she told me the story,
Probably.
her story.
Yeah, probably. I hope so. Okay. Really, any phrase would actually match that, but that one makes the most sense. All right, Carolina, number 3.
I burned myself as I was taking a hot dish out of the oven.
Yeah, again, yeah, that one definitely makes the most sense. Okay, of course, we're talking about two things happening at once. Ken, number 4.
Okay. And the crowd cheered as the two teams came out onto the field.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of like the crowd cheered as I was taking a hot dish out of the oven. Yay! Okay, never mind. All right, Ziad, number 5.
A dog ran out in front of the car as we were driving along the road.
Okay, well, all right, that one makes the most sense. Very good. All right, you're going to do the same thing again, but you're going to begin the sentence with as instead of putting it in the middle. For example, as I was hungry, I decided to find somewhere to eat. All right. Jorge, number 2.
As today is a public holiday, many of the shops are shut.
Okay, very good. And that's it. The only difference in meaning, putting as in front, is there is no difference in meaning. The only difference in writing, I'm sorry, is you need a comma. Oh, okay, number 3. Carolina.
I didn't want to disturb anybody.
Okay, how about you?
As
Yeah, start the sentence with as.
okay, as I was very quiet.
No, as I didn't want to disturb anybody.
I was very quiet.
Yeah, as I didn't want to disturb anybody, comma. So in speaking, you would naturally pause, by the way. As I didn't want to disturb anybody, I was very quiet. You would definitely have a little extra pause there, which kind of indicates where the comma would go in writing. Yeah, all right. Ken, number 4.
As I don't know what to do, I need some advice.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right. Ziad, last one here, number 5.
As none of us had watched, we didn't know what time it was.
Okay. Very good. As none of us had a watch. We didn't know. As none of us had a watch. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. What does add mean in these sentences? All right. Read the sentence and tell me, does it mean because or at the same time? For example, as they live near us, we see them quite often. It's because. Number 2, Kate slipped as she was getting off the bus. The same time. Okay. Jorge, number 3.
Yes. As I was tired, I went to bed early. It's because I was tired.
Yes, very good. Okay, excellent. Carolina, number 4.
Unfortunately, as I was parking at the car, I hit the car behind me. It's at the same time.
Yeah, hopefully not because. Yeah. All right, Ken, number 5.
As we climbed on the hill, we got more and more tired. I think while
Yeah, while at the same time as. Yes. Okay, Ken, you kind of slipped. You said as we climbed on the hill.
on the
That doesn't really work
okay.
if you're climbing around on it. You could, however, say climbed up the hill, basically to exaggerate the fact that you're going up in elevation, which you might do here in this sentence. It would be very natural to do that because you're kind of emphasizing up, more tired, tired, more and more tired. All right, Ziad, number 6.
We decided to go out to eat as we had no food at home. Because.
Definitely, because. All right, and Jorge, number 7.
Yeah. As we don't use the car very often, we have decided to sell it because we don't use the car very often.
Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely. All right. Okay, in some sentences, you need when, not as. Okay, so correct the sentences when necessary. So read the sentences, they may be correct. For example, Julia got married as she was 22. Well, that's weird. Okay, when she was 22, not because she was 22. And this is not going to mean at the same time she was 22. All right, so, okay. As the day went on, the weather got worse. That's fine. Okay, Carolina, number 3.
He dropped the glass as he was taking it out the cupboard. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, in some cases, like number 1, definitely is going to be better to use when, because you're using an exact time. Other cases, number 3, he dropped the glass as he was taking out of the cupboard. That's fine at the time. Okay, that he was taking out of the cupboard. That's great. You could, well, when is not going to work here, but while could work. He dropped the glass while he was taking it out of the cupboard. It's possible. Yeah, when you can't do here. Right. By the way, Carolina, taking. All right. And this last word, cupboard, the P is silent. It sounds like cupboard. Cupboard. No P sound. Cupboard.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
You're welcome. Ken, number 4.
I lost my phone as I was in London. When I was in London.
Yeah, it definitely sounds a lot better. Very confusing. It sounds like when you use as, it sounds like you're saying because you're in London, you lost your phone. Really strange. All right, Ziad, number 5.
As I left school, I didn't know what to do. Correct.
Well, this one sounds very strange to me.
Yeah.
Under very specific circumstances, this could be correct. All right? If you're telling a story and you're talking about, oh, the principal yelled at me and I had to tell my parents. I didn't know if I should tell my parents. I didn't know what I should. Okay, so as I left school, I didn't know what to do. Specifically, yeah, okay, could make sense.
Yeah, it could be like because I left school, I didn't know what to do. I don't know.
Because I left school, I didn't know what to do. Okay, I guess, again, in specific circumstances. But, all right, Here, it all depends on the context, I suppose. What makes
Yeah.
sense and what doesn't. It is also possible to say, when I left school, I didn't know what to do, which would be more common to think about a person talking in general. Oh, when I was young, when I left school, I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
But yeah, in specific contexts, it would be possible for either meaning at the time or because, I guess. Okay. All right, Jorge, number 6.
The train slowed down as it approached the station. It's okay, I think.
Sure. Yeah, two things happening at once. And it's perfectly okay, but it's also okay with when here. Train slowed down when it approached the station. Okay, at the time. Okay. Carolina, number 7.
I used to live near the sea when I was a child.
Yeah, it definitely sounds much better with when. Yeah, sounds very strange to say as I was a child. You can't use as like as I was being something, as she was being 22, as I was being a child. It's not going to work for things that are stative, things that are a state. It describes what you were, your state. You were a child. You were 22. It just doesn't work at all. Okay. All right, we can try some of our own ideas. Let's see if you guys can create sentences out of the blue here. All right, Ken, number 1.
Complete a sentence. I saw you as you walk down the street.
Okay. I saw you as you walked down the street. All right. Now, personally, because I'm an English teacher, I always want to, I would say I saw you as you were walking down the street. I always want to make sure that I do that continuous tense. You don't have to when you use as. You're perfectly correct, because the as is showing that it happened at the same time. You're emphasizing that. You're not emphasizing an interrupted action, but okay. All right, Zia, number 2.
It started to rain just as we left the school.
Okay, perfect. Very good. Nice. Oh, just as. There it is. Okay. Perfect. Jorge, number 3.
As I didn't have enough money for a taxi, I decided to take the bus.
Perfect. All right. And Carolina, number 4.
Just as I took the picture, he pushed me away. I don't know.
Okay. All right. All right. I was thinking maybe somebody jumped into the picture. Maybe you got photobombed. You know photobombed?
No, teacher, I don't know.
Photobombed? When somebody jumps in front of your picture when you're taking
Ah,
it.
okay.
That's photobombing. Okay. It's a verb. To photo as you're taking your picture. Okay. Well, we've still got some extra time, so I'm going to go back and look at some of the make your own sentences within less or as long as, provided that. Let's give this a shot. We'll be late unless we get a taxi. Again, making up our own sentences here. Ken, number 2.
Yeah, I like hot weather as long as I can go to the beach.
Yeah, I was thinking beaches too. Okay, very good. All right. Ziad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It takes about 20 minutes to drive to the airport, provided uh, there is no traffic.
Okay. Provided there is no traffic, perfect, very logical. Also, remember that here you can use provided there is no traffic, that's fine, or provided that there is no traffic.
Okay.
Slightly more formal when you use that. But it is optional. Okay, Jorge, number 4.
I don't mind walking home as long as I have dinner when I get there.
Okay, all right. Maybe as long as dinner's ready when I get there. Maybe better.
Okay.
Is that what you mean? All right.
Yes.
Maybe. Okay. Carolina, number 5.
I like to work in the morning unless it's raining. It rains.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Unless it's raining, it is raining, or unless it rains. Okay. Okay. That's fine. All right. Here you're. I like to walk to work in the morning. Okay. This is simple present tense. Unless it rains, or it is raining. Okay. I guess that's basically the zero conditional. What you assume to be a fact. All right. Fine. Okay, Ken, number 6.
We can meet tomorrow unless it won't rain.
Unless it won't rain?
Unless,
Okay.
yeah, makes sense?
Well, perhaps. So that means if it rains, we can meet.
If it's okay, unless it's not rain, it's rain.
Unless it rains means if it rains, we're not going to meet.
That meaning first.
Okay. We can meet tomorrow unless it rains.
Unless it rains.
Okay. It is unless is like saying if not. If not. So we can meet tomorrow if it doesn't rain. It's the same as using unless with no negative. Yeah, you basically avoid using unless with a negative unless something doesn't. We basically try to avoid that because unless by itself is already negative. We try to avoid double negatives in English as much as possible. Ziad, number 7, please.
I can lend you the money providing you won't get paid.
Okay. Providing you won't get paid? All right. Providing you pay me back by Tuesday is kind of what I was thinking, but all right. Okay, that's fine. All right. Jorge, number 8.
You won't achieve anything unless you make an effort to get what you want.
Okay. Deep philosophy there. All right. Well, that's terrific. Good job. Okay. I think you guys got it. Any last questions about unless, provided that, as long as, and as?
Yes. I have
Yeah.
a question, teacher.
Sure.
In sentence number 4, you corrected the sentence, but can I say I don't mind walking home as long as I get something to eat when I get there?
Yeah, that's pretty good. As long as I get something to eat is when I get there. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thank you. Any other questions? Guys, no?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're good. All right, I'm good. Thank you very much, everyone. And see you again next time. Bye for now.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Thank you.